Yeah, Jim, I have a good one that I want to talk about today. It's how to audit your centers of influence and prioritize the right relationships. Um, some of the training we do around centers of influence, a big part of it is choosing the right folks to have as centers of influence because we can only have so many of these really deep relationships with people, right? And if you're doing it right. So when I think of I think of the word audit because that tells me I need to keep track of folks. I need to understand and manage these relationships. And early on, when I really started getting into this work, and creating the business model that we have, I created a spreadsheet that had all of my COIs on the left-hand side. It had their contact information, the last date that I met with them, and then a listing almost of the, let's just call it the value that I would give them. And so it helped me kind of track like what I was giving. Because like when I think of my centers of influence, I feel like I want to and I need to be advocating for them out in the marketplace because if they're the right centers of influence, they're going to be doing the same thing for me, right? So I think by every so often make an audit of those folks that you're out there, you have deep relationship that you've been advocating for them, you're giving them introductions or inviting them to events. Sometimes you need to kind of look at those folks and see if they're doing the same thing for you. And I don't expect that. I think, Jim, you and I are givers. I mean, I don't expect anybody to, if I introduce you to someone, I don't expect you to introduce me. That's not my point. I think, but if you're working a good center of influence strategy, the whole idea around that is that you are managing relationships and building relationships with other centers of influence and other givers with the whole intent that you're helping each other. You're helping each other, get more introductions, go to more events, and meet more people. Tell me what your thoughts are around that. I'd be curious because
Mine's
you have a lot of centers of influence and you do a lot of work around this.
yeah, mine's pretty easy because I don't do a good job of auditing, at least on paper. I don't have a spreadsheet, I don't have a list. It's in my heart and in my gut. So I
Yeah.
know who my best centers of influence are. And that doesn't mean that they're referring me clients all the time, but I am getting at least good introductions and maybe some clients. Or maybe they're saying really good things about me on LinkedIn posts or whatever it is. So it's in my gut and in my heart. I stay very close to those who I think are my greatest cheerleaders.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think I used that spreadsheet probably for a couple of years just because it was actually an idea I got out of reading a book around referrals several years ago, and that's what this person kind of first recommended, especially if you're just starting out and you have maybe only 5 or 10 COIs that you're working at any one time, but. I would agree with you. I think now it is kind of a gut check, now we've been doing this for a long time. But it is good to kind of every now and then think about that, and think about, who your true centers of influence are and how you can continue to give them value.